Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of Newsware's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the most up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is our trading anchor, Bill Olson, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. We're going to get things started with our markets update. U.S. futures are slipping this morning with S&P futures down 1.4%, Dow futures down 1.44%, and NASDAQ futures down 1.46%. Markets sliding lower comes as a result of growing anxiety that the spread of COVID-19 variants will upend growth expectations, undoing popular reflation trades. The pandemic's reach and death toll continues to grow, and the World Health Organization is urging caution on reopenings globally. Bonds are trading higher, while third-year U.S. Treasury yields have touched their lowest levels in 5 months as inflation's expectations eased. While central bank stimulus plans remain critical to market outlook, the Federal Reserve has come closer to slowly cutting off its $120 billion in monthly bond purchases. Over in Europe, alternatively, the central bank stands ready to extend ultra-loose policy. Elsewhere in trading, oil has declined as investors wait for further signals from OPEC Plus alliance on production plans after the recent breakdown in talks. Over in Europe, markets saw a 1.8% decline, led most heavily by minor stocks. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates?
Well, I've been watching the S&Ps all morning long, and they just continue to trade a little lower. S&P futures are really showing weakness. I'm looking at the yields on the 10-year Treasury notes. They dropped 7 basis points to 1.25. You know, this reversal, it's really based on the fears of the pace of the global economic recovery. The market really is seeing traders pull back bets on some of these high growth stocks. And you also have China, which is increasing its oversight on tech companies. I'm looking at my Dow Jones Industrial Average, and it's unanimous. All 30 components are losing ground in pre-market trading. The biggest declines we're seeing are Boeing, which is down 2.5%. Salesforce.com is down similar. It's down 2.48%. JP Morgan, you're seeing it's dropping 2.3%. The best performer of the Dow is Verizon, which is really understandable. They're only down 0.5%, 0.5%, because cable is in cell phones are the last things people like to cancel contracts on. So their growth is muted. So it's not going to be as down as much as the rest of the Dow stocks are this morning. You know, I read over those Fed minutes yesterday, and there's a real source of concern here. Well, the Fed's not ready to communicate any timing of its tapering of asset purchases. You see a number of Fed officials making a case for it. It's still not a majority, but a vocal minority is really pushing for tapering discussions to start. You know, the concern here is that the Fed officials are not acting in unison, and the disagreement creates nervousness into the markets, and that's a big reason for this morning's sell-off. You see Fed Bank President Robert Kaplan of Dallas. He's been the most vocal. He's really been out on the circuit asking to start these discussions for Fed tapering. St. Louis Fed James Bullard, he's joined the party. Eric Rosengreen from Boston is on there, and now we have Raphael Bostic of the Atlanta Fed Bank, who's also thinking that it's time to start discussions on when the Fed should start tapering. You know, we do have the jobless claims coming out this morning, but it's unlikely to really halt this morning's slide in equity prices. I'm looking over at Asia overnight, and, you know, the Nikkei lost almost 1%. They were down 0.88. You know, what's going on over there is that the government of Japan is declaring another COVID-19 state of emergency in Tokyo until October 22nd to combat another resurgence of infections. This is through the Olympics, so that's not good. The Hong Kong index, that lost 2.89%. And, you know, you have to realize this is the 8th consecutive trading day of a loss on the Hang Seng market. China's Shanghai Composite, they dropped 0.79%. Why? Because China is really looking into the tech companies, and, you know, as they go public, will these companies be handing out user information data? And is that a security concern? That's what's going on over in these Asia markets, which is causing a drop in the tech stocks, which is really reverberating throughout the markets in the other countries. You look at oil, Oil is pulling back. Russia is now leading an effort to close the divisions between Saudi Arabia and the UAE to help maybe possibly strike a deal to raise the oil output consumption in the coming months. Problem is that OPEC members are known to cheat, and these guys probably are already overproducing. So quotas need to be in place. Right now, they don't have a deal, and hopefully one comes in the next few days. But until that time, you're going to see a volatility in oil prices. But that's what I'm seeing this morning in the early markets, Shane.
Let's go ahead and move into earnings to watch today. It looks like WDFC did pretty well. Bill, why don't you tell us about it?
Well, at WDFC, William David, Frank Charlie, this is WD-40. These guys beat by 37 cents. They did it on higher revenue, and they gave a very solid guidance raise. So that's very positive. You look at the stock, it's up almost 8%. It's up $20 to 281.25 this morning. So they really did come through last night on their earnings.
How about insights as far as upcoming earning announcements?
Levi Strauss, that's ticker LEVI, Larry Edward Victor India. They're priced for an 8.8% move when they release their earnings this afternoon. The EPS estimate is for 91 cents. You also want to keep an eye on PriceSmart. That's ticker PSMT, Paul, Sam, Mary, Tom. They're looking for a move of 7%. Now, their EPS estimate is just 65 cents. So those are two interesting ones that I'll be keeping an eye on this afternoon when they release their earnings.
Moving into our economic reports, Bill, tell us what we're seeing for reports today.
8:30 a.m., we have the jobless claims report coming out. That's in the pre-market. And then at 11 a.m., which is a little later and a day later, the EIA, the Energy Information Administration, will be releasing their report on oil stockpiles. So it's expected we're going to see another draw there. But that typically is kind of bullish for oil prices. We'll see what happens there when that report is released at 11 a.m. this morning.
Moving into our morning's critical insights, starting things off with some acquisition stories. Circle is set to go public through a business merger with the SPAC Concord Acquisition, ticker CND. The combined company will have an enterprise value of $4.5 billion and will trade on New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol CRCL. Concord share price is up 5.46% in pre-market. Hyperfine is set to go public through a SPAC merger with Healthcore Catalio Acquisition. That's ticker HCAQ. The combined company will have an enterprise value of $580 million and trade on NASDAQ under the ticker symbol HYPR. Healthcore share price is up 7.8% in pre-market. The Bank of New York Mellon, ticker BK, is set to acquire fund management tech company Milestone Group on undisclosed terms. In other news, Google, ticker GOOG, was sued by states as announced yesterday afternoon, alleging that the Play Store fees violate antitrust law with a complaint that Google controls 99% of the licensable market. Google has responded today saying that the antitrust lawsuit by AGs is meritless. Google's PR rep stated that in a blog post that its app stores provided openness and more choices than other app stores. Google share price is down 1.29% in pre-market. In other news, LinkDoc, ticker LDOC, has reportedly suspended plans for its U.S. IPO amid reports that the Chinese government will step up supervision on overseas listings by local companies. The Chinese Medical Data Group has reportedly planned to sell 10.8 million shares priced between $17.50 and $19.50 a share, but decided to scrap the IPO due to regulatory uncertainty. In other news, Albertsons Companies, ticker ACI, said it has removed additional items containing chicken from its shelves after supplier Tyson Foods recalled those products due to possible contamination about 4 days ago. The affected products have sell dates through July 6th and July 10th, 2021. Last one for me, Northrop Grumman, ticker NOC, has been awarded a $3.86 billion Air Force contract for ballistic missile ground subsystem support. Northrop share price is down 0.42% in pre-market. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
Well, Shane, I break my news alerts down into specific segments. I'm looking for specific industries, and I'm looking for specific events. I'm looking for catalysts that'll move stock prices so I can jump in early before the real action starts. I caught that action on Google this morning The attorney generals in 36 states suing Google. Google says it's meritless, but you know what? It's still a lawsuit. It just goes to show you that when the government starts to get involved in publicly companies' business, it really does, hurt the share prices from moving higher. I look at Facebook this morning. I see that former President Donald Trump is suing Facebook, Twitter, and Google, seeking to restore his online profile. Apple, shares of Apple, hey, they posted their first record close since January. It wrapped up the seventh straight day of trading gains yesterday. But you look at it this morning, and the stock is off. It's off those highs again, and probably trading lower all day today. They'll open up lower and probably continue to trade lower. You look over at Twitter. Their India unit has appointed an interim chief compliance officer and will soon designate two other executives to comply with the country's new IT rules. This one came out in a filing just recently. I look over to my Dow Jones 30 alert. Visa, that's ticker V is in Visa. They're partnering with Coinbase to allow clients to convert and spend digital currencies. Walgreens Booth Alliance, it's ticker WBA, William Boy Apple. They're expanding their same-day prescription delivery service. IBM, they're collaborating with another organization to build secured infrastructure for the Dutch Ministry of Defense. Looking at my option headlines, here's some options. Here's some stock that had some, elevated option volumes yesterday. Some were the same as yesterday, but Ford, Facebook, Carnival Cruise, Oracle, Micron, Snap, Alibaba, and Disney. Volumes are still pretty high, and it's unusual. I'm looking at events today. Snowflake, that's ticker SNOW, Sam, Nancy, Oscar, William. At 12 p.m., they're having their annual shareholders meeting. And let's not forget about Costco. That's ticker COST, Charlie, Oscar, Sam, Tom. After the close at 4:15 p.m. Eastern time, they're going to have a call to discuss their June 2021 sales results. So this is going to be interesting to see what happened with shares of Costco when they release the sales results this afternoon.
Moving into our Trade Talk picks for today, I'm picking one that I spoke about, Northrop Grumman, ticker NOC, off of the award it's gotten for $3.86 billion from the Air Force. It's really good news for them. They've taken a hit this morning. They're down 0.88% in pre-market as of right now. The most they were down was 3% earlier, but they fluctuated. This is one that I think we probably should watch in the morning with some caution that it might take a little bit more of a dip in the open. So maybe between 10 and 10:30 a.m., we can expect that dip to have leveled, and from there, a bounce back to occur. So that's my pick. I think we have to look at it with caution, but let's just take the gains where we can see them. Bill, what's your pick looking like?
It's going to be a cautious trading day. We're trying to provide long positions here, and today it's all about the timing. I'm looking at shares of Costco, ticker COST, Charlie, Oscar, Sam, Tom. The fact is you look at Costco, it's down $3 or 0.76% right now. It's going to move lower. I'm really hoping that I might be able to pick some shares up at the 397.50 level. That's kind of the area I'd like to get in at because I believe it's safe. Prior to the event being released at 4:15, I think this stock could trade higher, and you could see, going back up to this 401 level. So I'm going with Costco. Timing is key. I'm waiting for that 397.50 level. That's the key area that I'm looking to kind of, execute a long position on this morning.
Moving into what's hot at the press. This is the news that's hitting the tape as we speak, moving the market today. Let's get into it. So, Bill, which are the headlines we should be letting traders know about?
ECB. The ECB says it could allow inflation to overshoot.
Here's one on Hyundai, ticker HYMLF. Hyundai Motor and Kia have signed a memorandum of understanding with Next Hydrogen Corporation to develop an advanced alkaline water electrolysis system that helps produce green hydrogen economically.
Here's one on Papa John's Pizza. That's ticker PZZA, Paul Zebra Alpha. Papa John's to invest $2.5 million in 2021 employee bonuses. Here's one on the SEC. This is going to be a hot topic. The SEC report said the board has had bad communications and bad chemistry. This is the audit watchdog committee is discussing overhauling at the SEC, citing years of dysfunction.
News on Tesla, ticker TSLA. Tesla recorded the sale of 33,155 China-made vehicles in June, down from 33,463 cars it sold in May. And this is citing numbers released by the China Passenger Car Association.
Here's one on Walgreens Boots Alliance. That's ticker WBA, William Boy Apple. Walgreens and Village MD to open up 29 full-service primary care practices in Texas this year.
Acquisition news. View, ticker VIEW, has acquired Lotium.
Here's one on Freeport McMoran, ticker FCX, Frank Charlie X-Ray. Goldman just adjusted their price target on the stock to 46 from 43. Remember, this is a raw material play. Copper typically runs when the economy starts to expand. Adjusting the price targets makes sense, especially going into the third and fourth quarter.
Gaslog, ticker GLOP. Gaslog Partners said that Paul Wogan, the CEO, is stepping down as of July 31st.
Here's one on Stars, Constellation Brands, STZ, Sam, Tom, Zebra. Constellation Brands sees increase in import volume trends.
Beyond Meat, ticker BYND, has launched chicken tenders in nearly 400 U.S. restaurants.
Here's one on Biogen, ticker BIIB, Boy, India, Boy. Biogen updates the label for its Alzheimer's disease drug to say that it should be used in people with mild disease symptoms.
Nielsen, ticker NLSN, a data and analytics company, has acquired TVTY. Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
No, that's all I'm seeing.
Same here, so that'll do it for what's hot off the press. Traders, keep in mind you can receive the same breaking stories we do simply by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out, get a free trial today. It'll definitely up your trading game. Moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Wednesday. I had KBR, ticker KBR, which opened at $38.13, and after around an hour dropped to the high.
Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of News Where it's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the most up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is Bill Olson, our trading anchor who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. We're going to get things started with our markets update. U.S. futures are moving higher this morning, with S&P futures up 0.2%, Dow futures up 0.1%, and NASDAQ futures up 0.54%. Investors are waiting for clues on policymakers thinking on interest rates and stimulus through the most recent Fed meeting minutes to be released today.
Not the biggest.
ED Global extended its losses in the U.S.
Well, that's
after
going to do it
a
for us here
Chinese
at Trade Talk.
crackdown on
Traders, you know
firms
what to do.
listing
Let's
their
get out
shares
there.
abroad.
Let's make some green.
Elsewhere in markets, 10-year Treasury yields were steady after hitting February lows in the U.S. hours. The dollar has remained flat against major world currencies. Oil has continued gains amid the OPEC Plus crisis in commodities. Copper has declined and gold has advanced for a sixth day. Over in Europe, the Stock 600 index climbed with gains in tech shares boosted by NASDAQ 100's record rise just Tuesday. Markets also saw commodity sectors outperform, with Royal Dutch Shell rising more than 3% after saying it will give returns to shareholders. Over in Asia, stocks fell, with Chinese tech firms in Hong Kong retreating after Beijing's cybersecurity probe on DD Global. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates?
Well, I've been watching the S&Ps all morning long. They're essentially flat going into, the 6, 7 o'clock hour, but it's since really started to gain some momentum, and you see the S&Ps are up 0.23%. That's a nice positive for the morning. You have that JOLTS report coming out soon. That's the job openings report. That's going to be a nice little kick, a little positive for the S&Ps. But the real issue is the real economic event today is going to be the release of the Fed meeting minutes. I expect the market to be trading in a tight trading range this morning, but those minutes are really going to create some volatility. And the market is really focused on looking for signs of tapering the asset purchases that the Fed is doing. About that asset purchasing, the Dallas Fed Bank president, Robert Kaplan, and St. Louis Fed Bank president, James Bullard, these two guys have been out there pushing their agenda hard. And recently, Boston Fed Bank president, Eric Rosengreen, has jumped into their camp. 3 members is hardly a majority, but these guys are first to speak to try and set the narrative. Nothing's going to happen. I don't think you're going to see anything, soon. Maybe at the Jackson Hole Summit or at the September meeting. That's when talk of asset purchasing unwinding is likely to really come up. Jerome Powell is really came out there and he said, "Listen, we discussed it, so that should put an end of when we're going to be talking about it." That's not enough information, but hopefully these meeting minutes are going to provide some additional clues. Keeping my eye on oil. Oil was very volatile yesterday. Oil's trading a little higher this morning. Market's looking for some clues from OPEC as to when the timing is of their next meeting. It's got to be soon. They've already come out and said it's going to be within the next 10 days. United Arab Emirates is really the holdup. They want their quotas to be changed so they can pay for this new infrastructure that they've recently done. But we'll see what happens. Remember, Saudi Arabia holds the big gun here, and this is going to be an interesting time for oil prices. Over the rest of this month.
Moving into our earnings to watch, it looked like Smart Global did pretty well. Bill, why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, we talked about Smart Global yesterday. That's ticker SGH, Sam Grace Henry. They delivered a 30-cent beat on higher revenue. You look at the stock this morning, it's already up 6%. It's a light week for earnings, but Smart Global really came through, and it's positive on the earnings front today.
Any insights as far as upcoming earning announcements?
Oh, WD-40 is coming out this afternoon. That's ticker WDFC, William David Frank Charlie. Now, the estimates here are for $1.15. The estimated move here is about 8.39%. They didn't have a good quarter last, and was when they reported in April. So there's a little concern here. But we'll have to wait to see how WD-40 is trading today. Keep an eye on the option volumes to see if we can get any insight as to whether a real beat or miss is going to happen. I'm also looking at Helen of Troy, which is releasing tomorrow. Their ticker symbol is HELE, Happy Elvis Larry Elvis. EPS estimates are $2.61. The expected move here for Helen of Troy is 7.34%.
Moving into economic reports, Bill, tell us what we're seeing for reports today.
At 8:55 a.m. this morning, we have the Red Book on retail sales. At 10 a.m., we have the JOLTS report, the job openings report coming out. And at 2 o'clock, the all-important release of the Fed meeting minutes. At 3:30, it should be noted that Atlanta Fed Bank President Raphael Bostic will be speaking as well.
Moving into our morning's critical insights, starting things off with one on America's Gold and Silver, ticker USAS. The company has signed an agreement with the Mexican Ministries of Economy, Interior, and Labor, committing to reopening at the Cosala operations that was shut down for over 17 months by an illegal blockade. USAS share price is up 3.16% in pre-market. News on Athena Technology acquisition, that's ticker ATHN. The company is set to combine businesses with Heliogen, an AI-enabled concentrated solar power plant company. The combined companies will have a value of $415 million and will trade on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol HLGN. Athena's share price is up 2.26% in pre-market. Update on DD Global, ticker DIDI. Shares of the company have dropped another 4% in pre-market today after reports that the company's main ride-sharing app has been removed from Tencent's messaging services, as well as Ant Group's Alipay. In other news, NASA has awarded a $531 million mechanical integrated services and technology contract to a joint venture between Aerodyne and KBR, that's ticker KBR. The joint venture will be providing engineering services for spaceflight and ground systems, which includes the development and validation of new technologies for future space and science missions. KBR share price is up 3.87% in pre-market. In other news, Planet Labs and DMYIV, that's ticker DMYQ, have entered into a merger. The combined company will trade as Planet under the ticker symbol PL and has a combined value of $2.8 billion. In other news, Energy Fuels, ticker UUUU, and Neo Performance announced that the first container of an expected 15 containers of mixed rare earth carbonate as a new U.S. to Europe rare earth supply chain will be underway. Energy Fuel share price is up 1.57% in pre-market. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
Well, Shane, I break my news alerts down into specific sectors. I'm looking for specific industries. I'm looking for specific events. And, you combine those two and you really find market moving opportunities, and you're typically able to jump in before the real price action starts to take effect. I start off every morning with my FANG alert. And, there's a lot of issues going on with the FANG stocks, especially the social media stocks in Hong Kong because of this new law that's being passed in Hong Kong. And these social media stocks have basically put Hong Kong on notice, saying they may not do business with them if this law is passed. Yesterday, Hong Kong's chief executive, lady by the name of Carrie Lam, she was trying to ease concerns of these U.S. tech companies about the proposed changes to the data protection laws, saying the new laws are needed to stop malicious posting of people's personal information online. But the government would be willing to listen. Sounds like a little lip service. I think that these social media companies are going to be real, and they're not going to allow their data to be censored even by the Hong Kong government. Looking over at Google this morning, this ticker GOOG. Wall Street Journal's reports that they found that YouTube's algorithm is actually directing viewers to false claims and sensationalized content rather than the specific content that people are looking for. Google comes out and says that it's only 1%, but according to the Wall Street Journal report, it was significantly higher than that. In terms of Facebook and Google, the second quarter earnings results coming out in a few weeks are expected to be good, even though Apple changed their privacy laws, making people have to opt in to have their data sent to advertisers. The advertisers already have it, so this quarter shouldn't hurt them. It's the upcoming quarters that could be a concern, but this quarter should be fine. I'm moving over to my Dow Jones 30 alert. IBM, shares were under pressure yesterday as a result of management reshuffling, which is said to be a drag on the stock. Microsoft, we all know about what happened yesterday. The U.S. government canceled that JEDI contract that was awarded to Microsoft. It looks like they're going to have to rebid. And, so it's not a huge negative. I mean, Microsoft hadn't really been putting too much money into it. It hasn't started yet. But it is a negative that they lost it, but they still have the potential to gain or win a partial aspect of this contract. Verizon unveiled their Thor Mobile. What Thor Mobile is, it's a 5G rapid response command vehicle that is going to be utilized during natural disasters, where it gives people access to 5G networks and satellite transmissions, even if all the power is out. So this is a positive step for Verizon to keep the internet communications flowing. Looking over at my option headlines, it was all about Chinese stocks yesterday. You look at BABA, ticker BABA, that's Alibaba. The 30-day option implied volatility is at 29 compared to the 52-week range of 24 to 56. This happened after Beijing's plans announced to step up supervision of Chinese firms listed offshore. JD, that's JD.com, ticker John David, JD. 30-day option implied volatility is at 33 compared to the 52-week range of 31 to 63. I can't do anything on DD only for the fact that it's only been public for a week, but these volatilities are interesting to me. I'm looking at events that are going on today. WR Grace, that's ticker GRA, Grace Richard Apple. At 9 a.m., they start their annual shareholders meeting. Rite Aid, that's ticker RAD, Richard Apple David. They're going to have their annual shareholders meeting, which is scheduled to commence at 11:30 a.m. today. But that's what I have as far as my news announcements today, Shane.
Let's talk about our Trade Talk picks for today. I'm picking one I spoke about, KBR, ticker KBR. Positive news how they were awarded this $531 million contract on their joint venture. And beyond that, they're positive. It's already received positively as it's up 3.87% in pre-market. And another positive is this is a stock that's been in Stanley Druckenmiller's portfolio for years. So he supports it, he believes in it, and they've got hot news. And they're already up in positive pre-market. So I can see this being one that keeps running up a little bit more. I'd be a little cautious on the open. I think I'd like to look at this one at the open and see if there's some weakness before getting in, as it's up a little bit so far already, and there might be a little bit of pullback, which can help us to actually get a better gain on it. But I do expect this one to go higher. What's your pick looking like, Bill?
I'm going with Federal Express. That's ticker FDX, Frank David X-Ray. The stock took a beating yesterday, but the news surrounding the stock is all positive. You look at it, stock's trading $293.50. That's a nice entry point, $293.50. Bank of America called it one of its best ideas for the third quarter. It really did, that sell-off yesterday seemed a little bit overdone. I think this could easily see $1 or $2 gain today. Just watch, be a little careful with that opening price. You want to get it under the 294 area, but I think that this thing could really see some momentum this afternoon. I also like the raw material space. I think that, these raw material stocks are going to go show some nice gains today, but I'm looking at them at the pre-market. They're all up nicely, so I really can't do anything in the raw materials. So I'm sticking with FedEx, ticker FDX, Frank David X-Ray today.
Moving into what's hot off the press, it's the news that's hitting the tape as we speak. Let's get into it. Bill, which are the headlines we should be letting traders know about?
Big Commerce, it's ticker BIGC, Boy, India, Grace, Charlie. Big Commerce is teaming with Amazon to fulfill e-commerce orders. Here's one on McKesson, it's ticker MCK, Michael, Charlie, Kilo. McKesson to sell certain European businesses to a Phoenix Group.
Bridge Investment Group going to be trading on New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol BRDG.
Here's one on Newegg. It's ticker NEGG, Nancy Edward Grace Grace. Newegg Commerce offers professionally built PC assembly. This is something new. They're building their own PCs. It's kind of interesting for the shares of Newegg. Jacobs Engineering, ticker J, they were selected by Auckland for a contract valued at $455 million.
Enghouse Systems has acquired Momentum SAS. Here's a stock to watch, Orbstat, ticker symbol OSAT, which was up over 15% in pre-market, definitely lower now, has been one of the third highest trending names on a stock market social media site.
Here's one, ticker AMG, Apple Michael Grace. Apple Michael Grace. Citi opens a Catalyst watch on affiliated managers. They raise their price target to $246. It's a 30-day positive Catalyst watch.
Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
No, that's all I'm seeing this morning, Shane.
Same here. So that'll do it for what's hot off the press. Traders, keep in mind you can receive the same breaking stories we do simply by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out. It'll definitely up your trading game. Moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Tuesday. I had Charter Industries, ticker GTLS. It opened at $150.60 and had a quick high. It got to $152.26 within the first hour of the market. So over a 1 to 2% trade, but from there it couldn't hold. So it took a drop down to $147. And by the close, the stock had worked its way back up to $149.17 for a 0.9% loss. So really just kind of had a flat to low day. How did yours end up doing, Bill?
Well, yesterday I went with CrowdStrike. That's ticker CRWD, Charlie, Richard, William, David. Stock opened up at $257.84. Then it ran. It actually hit a high of $267.84. That was a big move. And it closed at $264.98. That's a 2.75% move from the opening price to the close. The stock remains strong this morning. That's up another 1.3% to 268.51. So it was a real good winner yesterday. CrowdStrike, CRWD, Charlie, Richard, William, David.
Nice. Well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk. But traders, you know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.